video is about the injustice of Breonna Taylor, and it's different than what I've normally done in the past. But like so many others, my mind has just been on Breonna Taylor and Tamika Palmer, her mother, for the past 2 days. Now, of course, I've thought about them. You know, Breonna Taylor was murdered, I believe, March 13th, and it is now just a little over 7 months since her murder. And so we have thought about Breonna since her life became known to us via media. And so she definitely has been in my thoughts and in my prayers, and her family, and her partner. I believe his name is Kenny. I've thought a lot about them. However, I will say that I have cried over Breonna these past 2 days, and I may even cry during this video. I want to talk about the injustice of Breonna Taylor. I have been so saddened over the past 2 days because of the actions of the grand jury and the Attorney General, Kentucky State Attorney General Daniel Cameron. I've just been so saddened. First, like I said, I cried, and then I just have been watching what has been happening in Louisville as a result of the rendering of their decision. I want to first start by saying how beautiful, absolutely beautiful, Breonna Taylor was. Aesthetically, she was so, she's just a beauty. She's just so beautiful. And then she was just beautiful with her life. Like, she was just this young woman who was creating and shaping something really magical, something really wonderful, something really pure to give to herself, to her partner Kenny, to her family. She was just, she was moving in that direction. She was doing it, right? And when you see beautiful people moving in that direction, you just get so excited. And man, she just had a lot to give and a lot to show us. And so for her to be murdered and taken away from us the way that she was taken away from us, just fundamentally, it is sad. It is just absolutely sad. And it is our loss. It is our loss. And when I say we, the collective, contributed to the systems that would allow her to be lost. You know, I never think of it as, you know, when things like this happen, that really come out of a system of not disease, not natural disaster, but a system of evil, which is racism and white supremacy and slave culture. I don't look at, oh, well, this God in heaven contributed. No, we contributed to it collectively. And I include myself being part of a system. And so I just become so sad for one, because she was so beautiful and just doing remarkable with her life. And then, you know, secondly, look at a system that we have allowed to continue, and we have the wherewithal, we have the intellect, we have the know-how, we have the insight, we have the capacity, we have the integrity, we have the morality to do better, and we're just not doing better. The injustice of it all. And so that makes me sad. And 3, a mama lost her baby. Tamika Palmer lost her daughter. She even said, you know, a piece of her is gone. I'm not a mother, but I can't imagine a piece of me waking up every day and a piece of me is gone. A mother's love, it runs so deep. Nothing will ever compare to it. And so it's just sad. It is just sad, just fundamentally. Over these past days, I have been so pissed off at Daniel Cameron. I mean, Kentucky, I don't know, it's Republican. But I have been so struck by that Louisville has been mourning, Kentucky has been mourning, the nation has been mourning, the international community has been mourning over the life of Breonna Taylor. And all we get at the end of it, 7 months after, a little over 7 months after her death, if I'm wrong, I believe she was murdered on March the 13th. But a little bit over 7 months after her death, we have no answers for her death. We have no answers. Money, time, emotion, all of this has been exerted on it, and the loss of a human who was called Breonna Taylor is lost, and at the end of it, we have no answers. I do not understand. I do not understand why Daniel Cameron would conduct himself and that grand jury in a way that when we come back, we're all waiting to hear what it said, we learn nothing about Breonna Taylor's death. We're given nothing. Why did you use money, time, taxpayers' money to do nothing for Breonna Taylor? Hankinson, if I'm saying his name correct, you may have to correct me throughout. I am quite upset, and so I may not say things correctly, so I can be corrected. But Hankinson, if I am not mistaken, was fired in June. Already got rid of. Because he behaved inappropriately. They knew that. He endangering people in other apartments, not only Breonna and Kenny, but in other apartments, he just shooting. So we already knew that. Hankinson already gone, but he get another double down of what we already knew, but we don't know anything about Breonna Taylor. And then Daniel Cameron, it's one thing to present me something and you know it's wrong, but then you're going to be condescending on top of it. So you're presenting me information, you're presenting her mother, her family, her partner, Kenny, information, but also you're presenting the community of Louisville, Kentucky, the ones that you proclaim you care about. You give them this information, you give the nation, the international community, and it has nothing to do with Breonna Taylor. Now, I didn't spend one day in law school and don't want to be a lawyer. I never wanted to be a lawyer because I never felt, that the law was about justice. And I'm more of a justice girl, right? Law is about what is legal, what you can legally prove. I get it, okay? And I never had any pretense that it was otherwise, right? But then my whole thing of it is, why did you legally focus on Breonna Taylor? Because you focused on other people's apartments, but you never focused on her. And we had to endure trash. That was absolute trash that was rendered to us. It was, I just keep thinking of disgusting. I don't have any other language besides disrespectful, disgusting. As if we don't have any, as if we're just dumb. And I feel so very saddened by this, because we know that district attorneys, they can do what they need to do in order to get a job done. But when it comes to their friends and law enforcement, they'll turn their back. And they'll present you trash on a trash can lid and say, it's a steak. He used the name Breonna Taylor, but it wasn't about Breonna Taylor. It was not about Breonna Taylor. And I just feel so disgusted. Our systems in the United States, and whether this is the thing that we got to talk about, that we don't want to talk about, and that we really don't want to. The reason why people are using words like abolish the police, defund the police, because they are talking about a system that was rooted in a system that was to protect slave culture and to control black bodies in the United States of America. So it was never a system that could look at black people, First Nation people, Native Americans, if that's the term that you use, or Latinx people in a way, because it was used to look at how do you control bodies of color, and how do you cover up your mistakes when it comes to black bodies that you don't really even care about anyway. That you don't care about anyway. You see them as property. You see the body as property. And so it's insignificant to you. And that's why there's so much language. And so the injustice of Breonna Taylor is we didn't even talk about Breonna Taylor. And it's even further, it goes on even further that, of course, people are going to be hurt. I haven't been in the streets protesting in Louisville, but there are people who have been there for 4 months, galvanizing, strategizing, been in the streets, advocating all of this, and you receive that news and all you can do is weep. All you can do is weep. And as a black person and as a black woman, you say, man, I'm in this country and they are trying to kill us. And they're not even pretending with us. They said, we'll kill you. And what we'll do is we'll do pomp and circumstance around it. We'll use taxpayers' dollar. We'll do all of this stuff and won't even then talk about your murder. It's just unbelievable. And I know in America, I'm a black woman. And I know that they are trying to hurt me and kill me. And, I used to work internationally. And one of the countries that I worked in was South Sudan. I worked in northern Uganda, and I saw UN peacekeepers come in. And I'm looking and I'm like, I wish UN peacekeepers could come to this here United States. Now, this is where I might need to be corrected again because I haven't worked in the international community for a while. But there's a permanent, on the UN Council, there's permanent members and then there's temporary members. There's 5 and then there's 10, right? Now, the 5 who are the permanent, guess who's part of that? The United States. And the United States, and when you are part of the UN Council, voting is part of it, and everybody, those five members, they have to vote on things, to pass things. And if one person vetoes it, it doesn't, whatever they're trying to move forward doesn't necessarily move forward. So isn't it ironic? The United States is one of the five permanent members. And me as a black woman, I'm like, could UN peacekeepers come here? And I know that the United States would veto that. So UN peacekeepers can, because I feel like I would like UN peacekeepers to come here and protect me, because I know that my government is not going to do it and will not blink an eye if I get out of line to kill me, and then treat it as if they didn't do anything wrong. One of the officers who was responsible for the murder of Breonna Taylor said, I know I did the moral and ethical thing. I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words. I speak about the injustice of Breonna Taylor now, but I know justice for her is coming. I just may not see it. Those young people who are out in the streets, they may see it. They may see it. But I may not. I may not see justice for Breonna. I may have to live and die inside of the injustice the injustice of Breonna Taylor. But justice will come for her. It always does. It's often later than sooner. But the one thing that I know that we have the capacity to ensure, but we're not doing it. And when I say we, and I'm not talking about those good folks who are on the ground, or those who are in political realms who are looking at policy and all of those types of things that aren't doing their due diligence, but collectively, as a system, we're diseased. And we don't want to pluck it out because it holds power. Daniel Cameron is being used. He's being used to conduct himself in a way. He's certainly being used, and he's blinded by ambition. He's blinded by ambition. And so he's choosing to live his life in a certain way in order that he would achieve that. Right? And so he's an example, but he's part of the collective system that is trying to look at power and maintaining power and maintaining the comfort that one has in that system. Power is a hell of a drug. It's a hell of a drug. And we are all caught up in that matrix. And Breonna's life got caught up in that matrix. And we don't have any answers about it. we would just say, well, here, I'm going to present to you something that doesn't have anything to do with the case. Now you go away and be happy and maintain order the way I want you to. Women who may watch this, there is injustice right now for Breonna Taylor. Let's not say it isn't. But I think one thing that we can do that would make Breonna happy is to say, well, really to look at Breonna. Because I think she represents Black women so well. First of all, she's just so pretty. She's just a pretty little thing, just beautiful. And Black women are that, and you are that. And she was doing so well, and she was doing her very best. She was doing her very best. And I see that for a lot of Black women, just doing their very best. And doing extremely well. And I am so very proud to be a part of a community of Black women. I think that Black women, you should look at yourself in that way. Look at yourself as if you're looking at Breonna Taylor, who is just beautiful inside and out, and who was doing well in the face of everything. She was doing so well. And she's so amazing. She's so amazing. She's doing so amazing. And I think that's one way that we can begin to start to create space and put in energy that will build justice for Breonna in a world of injustice. So the struggle continues for us to really honor Breonna in the way that she deserves to. I wish you well, and I wish you peace.